Okay, got it.
Yeah, yep.
Raghu, this is Sri.
Hi, Sri.
In the admin tools, when you selected that one, you have two options, right? One is the default settings and administrative privileges.
Yeah.
So how do you see that? So how do you get that tabs visible?
Which tabs? Oh, 1 second. Let me go here. Under the set user permissions.
Go back to admin tools.
Yeah.
Yep.
1 second. Let me. Under the set user permissions, right?
Yeah. So over here, you are seeing like around 15 to 20 different options, right?
Yeah.
So where is the setting where we can see all these settings?
Yeah. I'll tell you. See, I am able to see all these things, right?
Yep.
See, with my login, I am able to see all this here, which means that I have the admin privileges. I'll tell you this when you are trying to configure the admin privileges, right? I'll tell you what is the place to configure these admin privileges.
Okay. So actually my question was like, if we are not using an administrative privileges, does we gonna have a tab called default permissions and administrative permissions?
No.
Okay. So is it for sure that the talent management, like if it's an hybrid model, we only use administrative privileges, right?
No.
Not use role based. Is there any reason?
Now see, if you are going to use a hybrid, right, you have the option of both. If you want to go to role-based permission, yes, you can go. And if you are using talent management modules, yes, if you want to use your administrative domain framework, yes, you can use it, because there are customers who implemented SuccessFactors a couple of years back, and during that time, only the administrative domain framework was there, guys.
Okay. So,
and even SAP after took over, right? SAP, they released the RVP couple of quarters later only. So even after SAP took over, right, there are a lot of implementations happen, and they are using only the administrative privileges or administrative domain security framework.
Okay. So to be precise, that in future implementations, most of them would be going for role-based permissions rather than administrative permissions. Is it a correct statement?
No, see, obviously people prefer a role-based permission framework, guys, because of the advantages, but I cannot rule out, say, because of some reasons or easy maintainability, they can go or look back at the administrative domain framework, because it is very easy to maintain. Whereas your role-based permission is little bit complex, and always like they have to depend on a SuccessFactors consultant, guys.
So Raghu, you mean to say we cannot do any configuration for role-based permissions, is it?
No, I didn't say that.
Okay, so SuccessFactors consultant in the sense,
you are the consultant, right? We are the consultant.
Yeah, so we can do it, right, for the role-based thing. I thought you're trying to say that we should always log a call for SuccessFactors guys, and they can do something.
See, how it happens is like, don't deviate, guys. Things that are pretty simple, right? At a client place, they are going to do that by themselves. They are not going to depend on SF consultant. If that is the case, right, your administrative privileges or administrative domain framework is pretty simple. You don't need any SF consultant to manage that. But when you look at RBP, right, RBP is little bit complex, but it gives you a lot of flexibility. But as it is complex, right, only the consultant can handle that requirements, guys. Okay. That is what I mean to say. It doesn't mean that you have to depend on the customer support team.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Srini, did I answer your question, Srini?
Yeah, and the reason why I said is that we are a hybrid model concept, so we have implemented modules.
Yeah, Raghu, this is Ray. If you go down in that default permissions, there is an admission permissions tab in that.
Yeah.
So, and also they have like a managing security, and there is a lot of stuff. Just can you talk on those, like what is admission, like admin permission within a default permission?
Yeah, I'll tell you all those things. I just started with that, right? I'll talk about that. Is the reason, like if you see the moment I'm talking about default permissions, I'm telling you to configure as minimum as possible. Don't grant. Yes, the framework has provided you those options. You can grant the admin privileges in the default permission itself, but don't grant that admin privileges in your default permissions, guys, because even your employees are going to get the admin privileges, which can which they can start their configuration without, they might have little bit knowledge, or they might Google some document and start configuring the system, which is going to really hurt your system, right? It is going to be trouble. They'll make a lot of trouble for your system, and you are the one who is responsible to maintain the system. There will be a lot of, you will be wasting a lot of time to identify the fault, where is the fault and what went wrong, right? So it is going to be really tough to maintain your system if you are going to grant any sort of admin privileges as part of the default permissions.
Okay. And another question is, like, let's say every quarter there will be version going on, right?
Yeah.
Is that question mark is anything related to, okay, these available in a previous version and the current version is disabled, something like that, or it doesn't mean anything, the question?
No, it doesn't mean anything, Ray. It doesn't mean anything with respect to the previous release or up to the functionality not available in this release. It doesn't mean anything.
Is there any indicator of that? Like somewhere, I know we go through the release notes and we say, okay, we read it and we configure and we adjust the system as required. But is there any, like, let's say in a ABAP world, you put a star and you like, okay, you have marked the code as like not usable.
Oh, okay.
Is there anything you need to aware of in this system?
No, it is nothing like that, Ray. It is just like whether you want to activate that or not. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, with nothing like commenting or making the code dead, right? Nothing like that. Yep. So coming back to this thing, guys. So you can see each and every feature of your SuccessFactors instance, you are going to see a checkbox here. And based on your requirement or based on your organization security model, how they want to work, right? You are going to activate them or you are going to remove that access from the default permissions, and you will be taking care of that in the administrative privileges, guys. So that is what I'm going to say here. Just keep as minimum. Don't keep any sort of admin thing in your default permissions. At a later point of time, you will be regretted because of that, guys. Even you say if you are going to work at a client place, right? Suggest them that you have to configure or you have to keep the minimum permissions here in your default permissions, guys. Select the appropriate checkbox and go ahead and save the changes, whatever you are going to do that, guys.
Raghu, I have a question, Mohsen here.
Yeah, Mohsen.
How do you know which permissions, which are those minimum permissions that you need to give to the users, and which are the ones that you don't want to give?
See,
who defines that?
No.
Sorry.
It all depends on your organization. Say in any organization, people should be able to see their goals, right? So you need to grant them the goal plan template permissions. In any organization, so people should be able to see their compensation templates, right? Or compensation statements. Put them under your default permissions. And the same with the performance plan templates. And say if your organization has specific requirement where employees should be able to see their reports, yes, you can put the reports under default permissions. And employee files, or I can say profiles, put under default permissions. So these kind of things you are for sure you are going to keep under the default permissions.
Okay, for example, right now there were a whole bunch of goal templates. So are those that we just saw, were they actually populated in the database for the company?
Yes.
Okay, so if the system is being done from scratch, technically those 15, 20 of those goal-based templates won't be there. There'll be just one template.
Yeah, it will not be none. When you start the implementation for the first time, right, you don't see any template at all. Motion?
Yes, thank you, Raghu. I got it. Thank you.
Okay. So,
But Raghu, just a quick question. Is it safe to say like the default permission will be giving access at the module level at a very high level, and the drill down like at the components level will be part of the role base or the other security area where we can use it? Is that accurate understanding or?
Yeah, it gives the access to the module, but the configuration access, right? that permission is going to be granted with the admin privileges or administrative thing, Ray. You are correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So that is what, guys, you have access to the module, but if you want to configure that module, you need admin privileges. That kind of permissions you should not grant here in the default permissions. The screen, whatever I'm showing you here, right? Don't do that. So once you configure the default permissions, I agree, guys, here people keep on changing things. They might have granted some admin privileges here, but in your organization, don't give any sort of such kind of admin privileges under the default permissions. And say you configure the minimum permissions under the default permissions, but you have the SuccessFactors consultant, right, which need admin access to the modules where they are going to work. So how you are going to grant that required admin privileges so that the consultant will be able to go ahead and configure the corresponding modules? And that is where your second layer under the admin privilege is going to come, where under your administrative domain privileges, you see two different layers. One is your default permissions and another is your admin privilege access grant or revoke. So these additional access, the consultant admin access is going to be granted using this layer, guys, which is nothing but if you go to your administrative privileges, go to your manage employees portlet here and go to set user permissions and you see admin privileges. This is the place where you are going to grant or revoke the admin access to the consultants. Click on administrative privileges and you can see here you can grant the access or revoke the access based on an individual user or for a group of users based on certain criteria, based on their role, based on their location, division, department. You will be able to grant or revoke access. Say if you are interested in granting access to, tell me, guys, if someone doesn't have admin access. I think Smita doesn't have. Yeah, she has.
I have, I think, Raghu.
Yeah, you have, but you don't have complete access. Let me show you. Yeah. You see here. Say if you talk about a consultant by name Smita, you can see here right now she is able to manage users and she is able to control the security of your system and she will be able to do the Tasnim, I'll grant that Tasnim. She will be able to complete she will be able to administrate the templates, manage competency skills, system properties. So what are the different things again under manage users? If you just click on this hyperlink, that is a hyperlink, guys, in fact. So these are the different things that you are going to see under manage users. So based on your organization requirement, you can just go ahead and grant the access, guys. Or if you are very specific, say again in your manage users, say if you go to manage users, right, say she is not supposed to reset employees or the user password, but she should be able to import, export employees, document transfer, goal transfer. She should be able to do all of that activities, but she is not supposed to reset the user password. Just uncheck this part. So you need at a high level, you have to grant the manage user access, but inside that you don't want to give the reset user permissions to Smita. Then revoke this access. Only the reset user passwords. The ones that you marked as selected here are the permissions that are going to be granted, or the admin permissions that are going to be granted to Smita here. So that is how you are going to control. Likewise, you see there are different domains. All these things are domains, guys. That is the reason they call it as admin domain or administrative domains framework. So likewise, each of these domain has lot of permissions inside there, guys. Once you click on right, go through those things, you will be able to understand what sort of permissions you are granting to what sort of admin permissions you are granting to this consultant here. So if she is good with respect to all the modules of your SuccessFactors, then go ahead and configure. Go ahead and if your client says okay, she is supposed to work on all the modules. Yes, go ahead and grant the admin privileges, all the domains, whatever you see here, right, to her, and select this save admin permissions for the selected users. That's it, guys. And same is the case for anyone, guys. You can just go ahead and go to this place and you can configure the required permissions. You can see most of you has already the admin privilege, guys. If some of you doesn't have, by yourself you will be able to go here and do that.